we are going to see the next or second question in the ethics. Let's revise some form of answer writing tricks or tips in the ethics. We all know that in ethics we have to write the answer only in 150 words, of which introduction will contain 30-40 words with the including the example, which should wherever is possible should include the definition of the term if it any. Otherwise you should at least explain what is the meaning of that question or that the term, any kind of term mentioned in the question. For example, in this question we are going to talk about the international aid, right? So you can explain what do you mean by international aid, etc. Okay, this should be part of your introduction. Then we have seen that the many kind of answers can be written, and we have already seen in the other social justice and governance PYQ. So I am just revising it. One of the form is like this only, right? So you can generate these points using the syllabus only. So you should have the very much aware about the syllabus of the ethics. Syllabus of the ethics itself give you so much points so that you can write any kind of answer within that broad framework within the 150 words. Okay, let's begin. Today's question is: the international aid is an accepted form of helping resource challenged nations. Resource challenged nation means more of a developing nation, those who are the poor countries, smaller countries who does not have enough resources for their own development. So such kind of countries receives an international aid from the developed countries who have vast amount of resources like US, Japan, Britain, or European countries, developed countries, right? Including the China, even to the extent India also giving aid. We have already seen that India is giving aid to the Afghanistan, to the Sri Lanka, to the Bangladesh, to the Myanmar, to the Maldives, etc. Comment on but this is not the question. This is the just statement. Question begins from here. Comment on the ethics in contemporary international aid. So we have to study not only international aid or their different forms, we have to write about their ethicality. So this is the main aspect of the ethics. So you have to write the ethicality of the different concepts, right? Support your answer with suitable example. Means you have to give some form of examples, which is the very much part of the ethics. You cannot write ethic answers without the example. You have to have substantiate. Even if it is not explicitly given, you should mention the examples. Now we understand the question. Now second, so first thing, understand the question. Second step, link it with the syllabus. Now syllabus, what syllabus is? Let's see. This is in, I think, last topic, probability. Ethical issues in international relation and the funding, or the second last maybe. Ethical issues in international relations and funding. Direct question. You will find many times a direct question from the syllabus as it is. Okay. So funding. Let's start. We have understand the question. Now we have all the resources, notes available here, which we have already written down in our notebook under this topic. So let's begin. So we have once understood what it actually means and what we have to write it. So introduction can be like this way only. International aid refers to. Here I am trying to explain the definition or the explaining the meaning or the concept of international aid, which already I said that you should have in your introduction either definition or explaining the any kind of term mentioned in the question. So let's see. International aid refers to the assistance provided by the country or any kind of international organization like UNESCO, WHO. These are the institutions. They may also provide many types of help or the aid to another country facing the various challenges. Exemplified by the here I have given the example. Like for example, India has given around 96 crore to the Nepal for the earthquake. At the time of earthquake rehabilitation or the earthquake rescue mission. There are many examples. We have given $3 billion of aid almost to the Afghanistan before the Taliban. We have given aid in form of, first you have to understand, aid means not only the transfer of money only. Aid comes in various forms. For example, various forms of aid means The first is direct money transfer, which we called as an aid. Directly we have given some form of financial assistance, right? Yeah, which can be said as a financial assistance. Then second thing is in terms of cheap borrowing. For example, Japan has given us a loan of rupees 1 lakh crore to finance the bullet train project with the interest less than the 1%. That for almost next 50 years. So this is the cheapest loan ever made. So actually this is one kind of international aid has been given. Then third thing, in a kind form, means in supplies. For example, in Afghanistan, in Ukraine, in Gaza, we have provided medical assistance. In terms of in Sri Lanka, even in Maldives, Bangladesh, Rohingya rehabilitation in Bangladesh, housing projects are being given by the India. So these kind of international aids are provided to supply through the supplies or the various kinds. And another is a military aid. For example, we have given the submarine, a financial aid in terms of the submarine provided to the Bangladesh. Or best example is the USA providing the military assistance, military aid to the Pakistan with certain terms and conditions. That's what the question is about. But these are the different kinds of aids. So do not confuse aid with the only financial meaning. However, the ethics surrounding the international aid have become increasingly important in contemporary scenario, as ensuring aid is delivered and utilized ethically is essential to its effectiveness and the well-being of the recipient nation. So there are two aspects. One aspect, the motivation or the intention behind giving the aid, and the utilization of aid after receiving the international aid. So ethics contains from these two perspectives. Let's see. There is an international aid given by some country. So this is a giver. Okay? And received by some another country, developing country, receiver. So where the ethics lies in international aid? Ethics lies in these two facts. The intention may be not ethical. Intention of giver is maybe unethical. Intention may not be development. Intention is somewhat else. That's what the question is asking about. And other thing is the receiver may not utilize it in a ethical manner. Utilization. So utilization of the received aid is not been made in ethical manner. So at both these places ethics lies, and we have to explore that. Let's see the example. Intention. Many times geopolitics is the intention behind giving the aid. For example, creating the hegemony. So geopolitics, how geopolitics involve? USA giving the F-15s fighter jets to the Pakistan. That is military assistance, military aid. So why they are giving them Pakistan? Although they know that the Pakistan is the harbor of the terrorists, still they are providing the military aid. But the reason is, at that time they are stationing in the Afghanistan and they want to secure the Afghanistan. They means US, and the Pakistan is a key to secure the Afghanistan. They know that. So Pakistan is the essential factor while playing the geopolitical role in the Afghanistan. I am not here to understand you the international relation or geopolitics. I am here saying that this kind can be the one of the role. Even India is also playing the international role in terms of playing geopolitics for ensuring neighborhood first policy to keep their neighbors happy. Are you getting it? So intention may not be the development. Sometimes intention may be the geopolitics or creating the hegemony. So many times US providing it to the Japan in terms of military assistance, troop contribution, etc. to maintain the hegemony. Are you getting it? Or at the same time, at the receiver end, there can be misappropriation of the fund. Why I am using the same term? Misappropriation means appropriation means the intention or the clause under which you have been given fund, you are not using it for that purpose. It called as a misappropriation. If I am giving you the fund to elimination of the malaria, and if you are doing it through that fund, if you are procuring the military equipment, it means the misappropriation of funds. So many times what we have seen that the funds received by these developing nations been utilized for the military aids or even corruption also for their own personal gain as well. So these are the ethical aspects involved broadly. You can explore many points from there. We will see in this question. Let's see. Ethical foundation of the international is humanitarian assistance. So there are both things, good things and bad things. Good ethics involves actually being given for the ethical assistance, given for the humanitarian assistance. For example, during the time of tsunami, we have given international aids. During the time of COVID, vaccine Maitri program, we have provided medicines, vaccines to the all over the world, African continent, just out of gesture of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So these are the humanitarian gestures. So it's a good thing. Altruism means what? A fundamental effective foundation of the international aid emphasizes selfless concern for the welfare of. So we do not have selfish interest or motivation at our side. So example is 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. Global solidarity is one important international aids. For example, during the time of COVID-19, to develop a vaccine immediately, all countries or the major countries of the world come together and establish a COVAX facility so that they all can contribute to the faster development of the vaccines. Then developmental assistance, for example, ITC programs of the India in the Africa. What they ensures? Actually ensures the development at their level. So economic development, socio development, etc. Education and health, e-health, e-education services provided, Africa students exchange program. So these are kind of the international aids are made for the good ethical perspectives. Then other ecological sustainability. We all know that in the environment, common but differentiated responsibility by respective capabilities, under which the international organization and developed countries committed to provide $100 billion per year. So this is the commitment. This comes under the international. What are they actually providing is another issue, but this commitment is made. Comes under international. So it's good thing, right? So these are the good ethical points. But at the same time, there is a ethical issues. Like for example, conditional aid means the country is giving the aid. For example, US has given the fighter jets to Pakistan, but with the condition. What are these conditions? You will not use it for the offensive purposes. You should have accountability towards use it. See, once the fighter jet means defense of the Pakistan army or the air force comes directly under the US. So these are the kind of conditions. And at the same time, if you take the example of India, Japan has given assistance for the metros, Delhi Mumbai industrial freight corridor, then railway freight corridor, then metros and bullet trains, etc. But they comes with the condition. What are the conditions? You should have the 80% of the contract should be awarded to the Japanese contractor. So Japanese technology will be bring here, Japanese investment will be bring here at the cost of the Japanese, our contractor, our employment, etc. So these are the conditional terms, and it also creates the economic dependency also. Like US created economic dependency on himself for the purpose of Europe. Then corruption and in the armed conflicts, many times the government use it for the purpose of the military assistance or the procurement, the military equipments. But actually that aid has come for the development assistance. So these are the different ethical issues involved with respect to the international aid. See, every time you should observe that every time if I quoting something, if I making my argument, at the same time I am giving an example. This is how ethics work. You should come with the example. Without the example, your ethics paper cannot be completed and you will not get good marks unless you provided that with the suitable examples. And that as far as possible, that example should be of the recent times. All the examples I have given, metro, US aid to the Pakistan, or the India's programs in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, whatever, they are of the recent times. They are not of 1960s, 1970s or modern history, or you are giving examples of Kautilya. I am not saying they are wrong. I am saying they are more of a relevant if they are come from the current affairs of the last decade or so. So that it will reflect your the applicative mind. Rather, are you getting it? The conclusion. Ethical dimension of international aid are the complex and multifaceted. See, high possibility there is this time also the question can be asked from the related to the international relation and the funding. See, there are two topics, ethics in IR and funding. They are talking about both things. So ethics in international relationship also includes, for example, neighborhood first policy, which talks about the non-reciprocity. Non-reciprocity means what? India has committed itself for the purpose that without reciprocating demands or without expecting anything from the neighboring countries, India is able in a position to give something, then India is giving something to them without expecting anything from them, just because we have the responsibility to ensure the neighborhood first policy or the neighborhood keep calm, peace and prosperous. For that purpose, it is a good thing now. Without expecting anything, you are giving something, means it's a ethical behavior. So this contains ethics. For example, Panchashil principle. So there is a high possibility that the question related to the armed conflicts can be asked. So you have to predict in this way, because there is a ongoing conflicts in the world across the regions. You have seen the South China Sea conflict between the US, China, Philippines, etc. You have the Ukraine-Russia war is going. You have the Taliban or Central Asia crisis in Afghanistan, or you have the Hamas and Israel conflict in the West Asia. Are you getting it? In the context of these armed struggles and the position of India or the stand of India taken at the UN or the international forum can be asked in ethical context. This is how you should study the PYQ. That's all about this question. Thank you.